Happy November 2015. What's going on? It's William back, and I want to talk to everybody about a popular question that comes up pretty often here about what is it really like to work in IT? What are some of the expectations of the job? What are some of the things that I should know before I consider a job in IT? And those sorts of questions that come up. So I thought I'd address that today up on the famous whiteboard. So let's get right into it. Things to know about IT jobs, okay? So number one, if you want to get into IT, you must love technology, okay? You've got to have the desire to be involved with technology in all aspects of it, okay? You don't have to have a passion for it. A lot of people talk about follow your passion. I don't certainly believe that, although some people are able to create a life around their passion, a job around their passions. I'm in the IT space. It's not my passion. I do enjoy it, okay? But, so don't let that get in your way. I know there's a lot of people out there that say, you know, you've got to be really passionate about it. You know, to me, passionate means like, you know, you dream about it. You know what I'm saying? So, but you do have to love technology, right? Number two, you've got to have a lot of patience. And the reason you have to have a lot of patience is because troubleshooting is what we do all day, every day, okay? We're pretty much all the time troubleshooting something. It really doesn't matter what part of the IT industry world that you're in, you're going to be doing some kind of troubleshooting. And it's a vital, vital skill that you must develop over time. And it'll come with time as you start to grow and develop your skills around technology. And troubleshooting can be a pain in the ass. I mean, it can stress you out. So you've got to have some level of patience there. You have to learn how to deal with it. All right, how to deal with some of that stress that comes along with it. So that's why I got that up there as number two. Number three, you've got to be practicing your craft all the time. Okay, keeping up with technology is what I talked about in a previous video about how to stay relevant. If you haven't seen it, you might want to go back and check it. We have to constantly keep up with what's going on in the IT world, all right? And that means studying, reading, taking classes, renewing our certifications, you know, masterminding with people, all that stuff. We have to keep up with what's going on or we're just going to get left behind in the dust, all right? So if you're not the type of person that wants to keep up with stuff, if you want a job that doesn't require any kind of thinking or, you know, any kind of upkeep or maintenance, IT is not for you. You've got to have the ability, you've got to have the desire to study and keep up with what's going on, and a lot of that's going to happen on your own time, okay? So that's number three. You got to practice your craft, sharpen this. You know, you got to keep that knife sharp, all right? Sharpen those skills. Number four, working long hours includes overtime, weekend, holidays, 24/7, 365 in a lot of big companies, okay? IT is usually not a 40-hour week. Very, very rare that you're going to find a 40-hour work week with the IT department industry, okay? Especially if you're some kind of server administrator or any kind of administrator at all. You're going to be working some long hours, and a lot of times you're going to be working weekends and holidays. You're going to be on call. You know, most companies have a rotation with on-call people. There's nothing you could do about it. It's just the way it works. Systems have to be running all the time, and so you're going to be required to do that. And you know, there's lots of times where if there's what's called a system down scenario where something is not working and it's broken in production, you're going to have to be on the phone with, you know, with vendors or whoever to support that, and sometimes you'll work a couple days straight through. So that's something to consider as well. Number five, you've got to be a team player. You've got to know how to work in a team environment, okay? There's no room for knowledge hoarding, okay? Know-it-all attitude, that's not going to fly, Okay, there's a lot of people in IT that think that they're the shit, that, like, they know everything, and those are the people that you want to run away from, because the moment you think that you know everything, you're done, right? I mean, nobody knows everything, and as a matter of fact, there's always somebody that knows more than you. Keep that in mind. So you've got to know how to work with your team, because no matter how you look at it, the IT world you've got many people in the IT department, all right? Unless you're a one-man show in a very small company, most of the time you're working for a fairly large company where there's a big team. You've got to have the ability to communicate with people, because let's face it, every piece of technology works together somehow, and if one thing isn't working, somebody has to communicate with everybody else to make sure that everything is working together. It's kind of like a motor in a car. I mean, you've got all these pieces that are intertwined, and if the flywheel is broke, the engine ain't going to turn, okay? So if you got a server down that's responsible for holding databases, for example, it's going to affect other stuff. So you have to be able to work in a team together and just make things happen. So you've got to be a team player. You've got to be able to meet deadlines for projects. So, I mean, sometimes you're going to be pressured to meet deadlines, and that's going to maybe take some working after hours or whatever. So there's going to be some stress there possibly. You've got to learn how to handle IT managers. A lot of times there's IT managers that think that they know everything, and a lot of them are just managers. They don't know anything about technology, okay? And sometimes there's some friction there, but you got to learn some of those skills on how to deal with them. There's certain ways that you just need to be a people person and know how to talk to management, how to deal with them. Being combative is not the way to do it. And unfortunately, that's what happens in a lot of places, and it creates this very uncomfortable environment between the management and the employees. So you have to learn how to deal with that. And lastly, people skills kind of goes in line with being a team player. But what I mean by people skills is that there are certain positions in the IT world, like help desk and customer service, or if you're doing help desk over the phone, or if you're doing desktop support. You've got to talk to people, and the desktop support people that are actually going to the workstations for these people where they sit at their desks or whatever. I mean, you've got to have a personality. I mean, we're dealing with people one-on-one, and I mean, if you're just a complete jerk, then that's not nice. I mean, there's a lot of stereotypes about IT people out there, and how they don't have a personality, and they just. Their faces in front of a computer all day, and that's just not true. I think that it just depends on the person. I'm certainly not like that. I mean, you've got to be able to deal with people on a one-on-one basis, and that includes the team that you work with and people outside your organization. You're going to be working with people from. You're going to be working with third-party vendors. So if something happens with a specific piece of software or a server, you might have to call and get support somewhere. You're dealing with people, so you've got to have some kind of personality to face those situations. And so you're not just stuck in a cubicle somewhere all day, and you don't have to worry about dealing with folks. I mean, you've got to be able to interact. The one exception, I guess, to the rule would be a developer that really doesn't deal a lot with outside folks, mostly, or anyone else. That those people are really sitting in front of their computers all day long, every day, just looking at lines of code. But even so, I mean, I think that you need to have a personality just to be successful in life. Okay, and be happy. I mean, there's so much attitude, I guess, if you will, in the IT industry, because it is a frustrating job that people are just they're unhappy, and so it affects their everyday attitude. And I actually teach this in my resource guide. If you haven't downloaded it yet, I highly recommend that you do by clicking the link below, where I talk about some of this mindset stuff. But anyways, I hope this helps you out. If you have anything to add, please let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions on other stuff that maybe I didn't cover, also let me know. If you don't want to put it in the comment, you can send me a private message as well, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Appreciate every single one of you watching this. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe and click the link below if you haven't got my resource guide. Look forward to the next video. We'll catch you next time. See ya.